everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're running a private practice or managing one, knowing which key performance indicators or your KPIs to track can make all the difference in killing it or having to close your doors. Today we're going to talk about the most important KPIs that you should be keeping an eye on. We'll cover both financial and operational metrics. So whether you're looking to increase your revenue or just make sure your practice is on the right track, this video's got you covered. So let's get started. So let's jump in and see how these KPIs can take you to the next level. So what is a KPI again? A KPI is a key performance indicator. It's used to help measure, quantify, and evaluate the performance of specific business goals or objectives. By looking at KPIs, you can easily figure out what your practice is doing well and what needs to be fixed. There are thousands of KPIs we can look at, but the goal isn't to overwhelm you. The goal is to help you figure out the most important ones for your practice to look at. Feel free to have your office manager or biller pull more information and give you them regularly. Like I said, today we're gonna start with the must-knows. So with that said, here are some important financial KPIs that we should be looking at, in my opinion. Let's start with revenue per patient. This is something you're going to do monthly, and it gives you an idea of how much each patient is worth. Find the total revenue per patient. You're going to take the total revenue you get per month and divide it by how many patients you saw in the month. Next, we're going to look at cost per visit. Cost per visit is to figure out the average cost each patient has per visit. To find cost per visit, you're going to figure out the total costs and divide it by the number of patients you saw. Next step is accounts receivable turnover. Accounts receivable turnover shows how quickly you're collecting money from either patients and or insurance company. Below accounts receivable turnover indicates that it's taking a long time for you to collect money. High accounts receivable turnover indicates that you're collecting money quickly. Find accounts receivable turnover. You're going to take everything you have collected and divide it by everything in your accounts receivable. Typically, you'll look at this quarterly, maybe per year, but ideally you want to look at it a little bit earlier to make sure you're starting to collect quicker. Next step is going to be claims denial rate. We're going to look at this in percentage. So your claims denial rate is your number of denied claims divided by your total number of claims, and then you take that times 100. You really want this to be under 5%. Next up is average claims processing time, or how long it takes your claims to get paid. Find this. You're going to take your total number of days for claims to be paid divided by the total number of claims processed during a certain time. And that's going to get you your average claims processing time. Next step is going to be your profit margin. This is good if you're selling products at your office. You can also use it for any cash procedures or procedures you're doing in general. Find net profit margin, you're going to take your total income. So basically your revenue minus all your costs associated with it. So total income divided by your revenue and take that times 100. Now let's talk about operational KPIs. Let's look at patient wait time. Find patient wait time. You're going to take the total wait time and divide it by the number of patients. Next up, let's look at your no-show rate. This is huge. If you have a lot of no-shows, that's a decrease in your revenue. Find your no-show rate. You're going to take the number of no-shows and divide it by total number of appointments and take that times 100. Next up, patient retention rate. This is going to tell you what the percentage of patients is returning to your practice. It's a really good idea to keep an eye on this. If you realize you start losing more patients than you are getting each month, then it means one of two things. One, you need to get more patients, and two, you need to figure out why you're losing those patients. To find your patient retention rate, you're going to take the number of patients at the end of a period minus the number of new patients and divide it by the number of patients at the start of the period. And you take that times 100. And last but not least, we're going to look at patient volume. Find patient volume, you're going to be looking at the number of patients you have visit each month or even each week, and keep an eye on that and see if it's growing over time, which hopefully it is. Now, how do you track your KPIs? The best way to track KPIs is to look at them regularly. This could be weekly, this could be monthly. It could be a mixture of both. So you just need to figure out which ones you want to look at and how often. Then tell your office manager, your biller, or whoever submits your claims that you want to be sent these numbers regularly. Now, the way to track them, you can either make your own spreadsheet and put everything in there, or you can find someone else to make you one, like a consultant. There are also software platforms out there that you can use for this. If you're going to use a software platform, I'd look at something that's very specific to healthcare. Now, while I'm not too familiar with a lot of softwares out there that do this, I'm more of a make your own spreadsheet kind of girl. Two that I can think of are Advanced MD or RCM Score. But overall, there's a lot of different ways to help you track your KPIs. You've just got to figure out what's best for you. By tracking your KPIs, you're going to get a better understanding of what's going on in your practice. A few examples of how you can use these KPIs to benefit your practice are: you'll be able to see if you're trending, losing patients over time, and you'll be able to figure out what to do about that. You're going to be able to see if claims are taking too long to get paid, and then look into why that is and how to speed up the process. Or maybe you can even figure out that your denial rate is super high and you got to figure out what's going on with that. Maybe you figured out that your front desk isn't actually taking a look at everybody's driver's license and insurance card. Maybe they're just asking each patient, saying, has anything changed? And of course the patient's gonna say, yes, everything's fine, nothing's changed, because they forgot that they either moved locations or they got a brand new card and it's just been a while since they've seen you. And you won't know any of this until you submit the claim, and then it gets denied because the information doesn't match. These are all great examples of how tracking your KPIs can help your practice. Now, I get this all can be very overwhelming, even if you have an office manager to help you. And so sometimes the best thing to do is just hire a consultant to help you. They can even help you gather all this information, and then they'll present it to you in a nice, clean, and simple way. They'll be able to tell you what's going well and what isn't. And then not only will they give you ideas on how to fix it, but they'll actually help you implement it if you want. I hope this video has given you a clear understanding of the most important KPIs and why they're so important to your practice. If you found this information helpful, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. And if you're looking at other ways to increase your revenue in your practice, check out this video. And if you're wanting to have a call one-on-one with me, click the link in the description and book a call. See you in the next video.